Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently going to be matching velocities at closest approach, which is not hugely close. We're still like 1.4 million kilometers apart from our asteroid in question, but we're going to be matching velocities here momentarily. Now, one thing I noticed while doing the Hohmann transfer burn out here is if we physics warp with these four engines, they just start going haywire. So we're not going to physics warp. So this could be a slightly lengthy burn, but I think it should be okay-ish. And with us only being 1.5 million kilometers out, that's, well, 1.4 million kilometers out. That's really not too bad. Oh, and this is only like a 3-minute, 45-second burn. Yeah, that's not going to be too bad. Let me actually make a quick save here, just in case something goes horribly wrong, and show you what I'm talking about with these engines going haywire. See, look at that. Yeah, nope. I'm gonna nope right on out of that one. We are not gonna be physics warping with these engines. So that'll be, you know, pretty great. So our separation at closest approach isn't going to be changing very much. But as we get our periapsis moved to be, you know, closer to here, well, as we get our velocity matched, we'll be in a much better position to get closer. So we will then go ahead and do that as soon as this burn is finished up here in 2.5 minutes. Now, one thing I could experiment with is just 2x time warp. Does that get too nasty? It doesn't seem to be getting nasty. 4x definitely does. Oh, there it goes. It's starting to shake up pretty badly. So let's reset it and go back to 2x. Yeah. If we just sit at 2x, we can sit there for a while, and then we'll just have to pop back to 1x now and then to stop the shaking before it gets started too much. That'll still save us a pretty hefty amount of time, really. Now, it does bear noting that we've burned out a lot of fuel, like a way lot of fuel. That is okay, though, because the plan is to make additional fuel once we get there. That's the idea. Hopefully we have enough to actually get there. And hopefully, we can transfer fuel from our convertatron here. That would be ideal. Now, we don't need to make any oxidizer, so we can make just liquid fuel, which will be more efficient, to be sure. We've also got our RCS here. You'll notice I have not burned out our RCS. That is intentional. We're going to be using the RCS pretty heavily. Okay, so we are at closest approach right now. So let's go ahead and get closer. Let's see. Oh, my. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's not working. Let's see about intercepting with a Hohmann transfer, shall we? Yeah, that's not working. Oh boy. Okay, so let's just do this a bit manually. Let's see about what happens if we do an intercept right around here. What is our... Oh, whoa, that was a lot that just happened. I meant to be right around over here and just checking to see what our intersect distance is, our intersect separation. So let's check up here. And let's just see if we can find ourselves a nice little intersection. It would appear that we cannot. MechJeb, what have you done to me? Did you break everything? MechJeb may have broken everything. Oh, that'll teach me to trust MechJeb. Okay, let's get rid of this maneuver here. And instead, let's make a new one. And let's just see here. Well, out of curiosity, what is our current closest? Here and here. Okay, So what happens if we do this? Separation of 19 million kilometers. Okay, well this is just going to take a little bit of experimentation, I think. I mean, we could get in pretty close. Oh my. By burning prograde. We could also get in relatively close-ish by burning retrograde. Interesting. What happens if we burn over here and intersect on this side? Do we find a nice intersection? It would appear that we do not. Okay. So hypothetically, what does the rendezvous autopilot come up with? Looks like that actually works. Okay, is this going to do a phasing orbit, though? No, I don't think it is. I think it's going to do this right now. Well, that's exactly what I was trying to get it to do. So it is burning... Oh, okay. It's basically burning radial. I tried that, but I didn't have success myself. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, so it's just going to burn slightly off of radial, or is that anti-radial? One or the other. It's going to burn slightly off of the pink one, and it's going to get us pretty much where we need to be. Oh my, and then it's going to freak out a bit. Okay. I'm going to disengage the autopilot. It pretty much got us to where we want to be. So I'm going to go to target velocity, and I'm going to go ahead and warp up here about a year. Excellent. And once we get up here, then we will be very, very close. Looks like separation of 300 kilometers. That's doable. Even though it said it was going to be 100 meters separation. But whatever. MechJeb is a little broken. But that's fine. The fact that it found this intersect is good enough for me. So we can ditch that. And honestly, we can probably ditch this too. And just match speed with the target. So we'd go to target, relative velocity, minus. Okay, so we've got about a year to continue to warp here. And we are getting closer and closer all the time. We are currently about 700,000 kilometers from the asteroid. It isn't visible yet, but it will be soon. So we will be crossing the orbit up here. We're warping to a little before then. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and cancel and warp a little bit closer. There we go. And we should, theoretically, be able to see the asteroid soon off over this way. It is now only about 400 million kilometers away. I mean, there's good reason why we can't see it yet. So it burned slightly off of, I believe that was radial, which makes a lot of sense. And I tried it, but not very extensively. But I can see why it did that. What I can't see is why the rendezvous planner couldn't come up with that, but whatever. It's fine. About 200 million kilometers away from the asteroid now. That's fantastic. Still can't see it. I have no idea how huge it is. From screenshots, it looks like a Class E asteroid is going to be a few times bigger than this. Realistically, as far as Delta V goes, it's going to be interesting. We are currently about 60 million kilometers away, and we're slightly ahead of it in the orbit. Let's go ahead and continue to warp to about here. That's about 20 days forward. There we go. Yeah, the asteroid is definitely a bit behind us right now, but it is still getting closer. And the separation at closest approach is going to be 322.1 kilometers, which will be fine. I would like to match velocities with target at closest approach. The maneuver planner will be fine for that. So we'll go ahead and do that. Create and execute. Theoretically, it should be fine. This should go to target retrograde, or at least very, very close to it. And yep, that looks like that's exactly where it's going. So it looks like MechJeb is going to handle that properly. Fantastic. Estimated burn of 6 seconds, 67.5 meters per second. Then we could fine-tune our closest approach to the target. Okay, we are incredibly close to this thing now. We should, I think, be able to see it, right? Distance is still about 300 kilometers. We're going to go ahead and match speeds with it. And then, can we do a fine-tune? I don't know if we can do a fine-tune. Okay, so we are incredibly close to this thing now. And we're going basically the same exact speed. So we are essentially stationary in reference to our asteroid, which is fantastic. So what happens if we do a fine-tune? Okay, we'll just burn towards the target slightly here. That'll be fine. So this is towards the target right here. Okay. And actually, it was burning towards the target, not burning radial. I don't know what I was talking about. Orbit before course correction doesn't seem to approach target very closely. Yeah, I know. Remove that node. We don't need you. I'm gonna do this manually. We're gonna go to about 100 meters per second, maybe. Something like that. And then we're going to burn away from the target, and we're just going to ditch our relative velocity once we get a little closer. But I'm going to warp a little bit. Not a lot, and I'm not going to physics warp it. So once we get this turn completed, I'm going to go ahead and warp up a little bit. 100 meters per second is going to take a while to get there. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to 50x. Let's go to 100x. Fantastic. Okay. We're currently 100 kilometers away. So let's see where we are. Right there? Excellent. It is in visual range. 80 kilometers. 50 kilometers. 30 kilometers. 20. Okay. Let's keep just kind of drifting in this way. Where is the sun? Right there? Okay, that's not the most awkward. We are definitely going to have to stop our speed here pretty soon, but let's go down to 10. Okay, I'm going to make a quick save here, just in case I fail this. Like I said, I'm not super used to asteroid capturing. And down to 5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start braking at this point. Okay. I do wonder why we are drifting in this way. Let's go to relative velocity minus. That's where we want to be anyway. And we'll just brake this a bit. Down to about 5 meters per second or so. 3, 2, 1. There we go, 5 meters per second. Now, of course, we are going to be passing it by a little bit this way. So let's go ahead and brake down to 0. And just stop in relation to it. We've got plenty of burn to get attached to this thing. Okay, something like that. And then burn straight to the target. Of course, we are moving in relation to it because we are turning. So let's burn towards the target a little bit. Like, not a ton. We're only 700 meters away. I'm actually going to make another quick save here because I have no idea how this actually works. I don't know what the range of the grabbing unit is. There's all of that. So let's just burn slightly towards the target. At about 5 meters per second, maybe? About like that. And then we'll need RCS to brake. I just want to... Hang on. I want to check what the RCS brake is. I know what the forward one is, but I'm not super used to what the RCS thrust backward is. N. Got it. Okay, so N is the RCS thrust backward, and indeed it is. Excellent. So we'll just keep approaching the target here. And then we'll try to use RCS to actually do that. Hey, we performed a rendezvous maneuver around the sun. Indeed we did. Let's see, I think we're going to be slightly off of this thing. But that's okay. Actually, I want to be relative velocity up. There we go. Okay, so we are 300 meters away from the asteroid. Target center of mass. Please select a target? Isn't that exciting? Also, this is taking a very long time to brake. Okay. Let's just go ahead and come to a complete stop here. We're a little bit off the target currently. Since apparently target center of mass doesn't target the center of mass. Okay. No. Off. Just stop. Okay. Let's set this guy as the target. There we go. And we want to be pointing towards the target. So let's go ahead and turn around to the target. There we go. Point directly at it. That's perfect. And now let's just... actually, we are currently 0.2 meters per second. I want to be completely stationary. So let's head to relative velocity minus. And let's just slowly get rid of our relative velocity. Okay. There we go. So point right at the target. Fantastic. And let's just ever so gently head on in to about 1 meter per second. Like that. Okay, so that's going to take like 3 minutes to get there. I'm going to make a quick save here. And I'm just going to warp up a little bit until we get to about 100 meters. Because I have no idea what the actual distance to the surface of this thing is. Looks like we are still a reasonable amount away. But moving at 1 meter per second, we should be fine. All we gotta do is use our grabber, and we can go ahead and arm our grabber, I think, right now. And then we just drift into it, and we should be fine, right? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Like I said, I've never actually done an asteroid capture mission before. We may want to stow our Gigantors temporarily, just in case. We don't want them to blow up. There we go. And we'll see how this actually pans out. But it looks like we're going to be coming in on this dark portion over there, and I'm not 100% certain how this is going to pan out. But we're about 50 seconds away-ish from finding out. We're 50 seconds away from the center. We're slightly more than that away from the surface. Or slightly less, even. Okay, I'm going to quick save once more. Let's see what happens. It's basically out of our hands at this point. It is what it is. I think the grabber will auto-grab. 1 meter per second shouldn't be enough to break anything. Whoa. Oh. I think we started it rotating. Yeah, we've got some... Oh, we grabbed it. Okay. Fantastic. We did indeed start it rotating, but we managed to grab it. And we should have some Gigantors that we can extend. We are currently controlling from the rock itself, I think. And let's see about extending our Gigantors. We should have one over here as well. Where are you? There you are. Excellent. And now we should also be able to do our drills. There we go. Okay, and we can see how many resources there are here. Specifically, there's 1,269. Excellent. So are our ore bays filling? Well, not yet, they're not. Are our drills not activated? They are not. Okay. Now they're going. And we can store 75 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and start our resource harvesting for liquid fuel. There we go. We are pulling out of the tanks faster than we're putting in, so that's fine. I just want to be sure that we don't utilize all of the resources. Also, let's just set our SAS to kill rot. And we are currently, I think, controlling from the asteroid itself. Oh, this is kind of waggly. That's exciting. I wonder how spinning this thing is going to go. Because that was just kill rot. See? Look at that. That is exciting indeed. If we warp up, we can freeze that, though. There we go. Okay, so we have done the world first, constructing the space station around the sun, and we've performed a docking maneuver around the sun. So this is now technically a space station. We just need to get this over BOP. And of course, we are harvesting. Our thermal efficiency is going down because our core temperature is pretty high right now. And of course, we are not super efficient on our convertatron either. Have we started refueling? We should have by now. Assuming it can get through this. It should be able to, I think, through this stack. 382, and, well, we can check here. Liquid fuel, 573. So we are not currently gaining any liquid fuel. It could just be 0.16% load. It could just be that we have not gotten enough ore. That's always a possibility. I'm going to go ahead and warp up, and let's see if we get any. Yeah, we are getting some very, very, very slowly. You can see we're getting 0.02. 0.01. Okay. So that is happening. We are very slowly mining out the resources here, and the mass of the asteroid is going down as well, which is handy. Now we need to get this thing over BOP. We've got ourselves a previously undisturbed Class E asteroid, so we need to get this thing... Where are we? We are currently here. We need to get this thing over to Joule, so set as target. Now, hypothetically, if we were to do a maneuver planner, Omen transfer to target, how would we go about pulling this off? Well, we could create this node. That doesn't help. We need to be a bit more circularized, so let's go ahead and remove all nodes and circularize at the next periapsis. How much would that take? 468.6 meters per second. That's not bad. Hang on a moment. Why do we only have 16 meters per second of delta V? Well, that's because the mass of this asteroid is so much. So our best bet at this point would probably be to start dropping a few of our other things into Julian orbit while we work on mining this out. Because, I mean, it's going to take a long time to mine that. So, in the meantime, I think what we do is we head back to the Space Center, and we just let that be. While that's happening, we can then do one of our other contracts. We have the contract to put the satellite over Tylo, and we also have a contract... Well, we don't have any other ones, actually. And none of these look like anything that we're going to be doing. A specific orbit of Vol. Do we have one for Vol? That's the question. And let's find out. Probes. Joule, specifically. And let's see here. Vol. We do have a probe landed at Vol, but we don't have anything currently over Vol. So I think that'll be fine. We'll go ahead and grab that. We'll drop our couple of probes in there. I mean, ultimately, if we fail the time on this, that's not the end of the world. We have 34 years left to do it, though. So, specific orbit of Tylo, specific orbit of Vol. We'll grab these. And I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode, we'll continue working on these contracts. See you all then.